Hey, Vinny Melkus Outdoors here again. I finally busted the boat out, cleaned it. I don't know if you remember, I had a Lowrance unit go down, so I'm wondering, I might just change up all my units and go with Garmin. I was looking at Lowrance, they got, the HD 3-in-1 transducer now, which I've looking into. It looks really cool, but taking advantage of some of the deals, I would have to, it's going to cost a couple grand, where in reality I could actually get a couple grand. I can get two 10-inch Garmin units and run high frequency side scan or whatever, and still run the same live scope on a 10-inch screen. So I mean, I'm granted I got a Lowrance trolling motor, and I've run Lowrance for some time. I like their icons for maps. I like all, some of their jazz like that, but we'll see. So we're getting close to the fishing season. I've got some new camera stuff to run when we're out there. So it's going to be interesting. Things are going to be a little bit different here coming soon when it comes to actual fishing, which I haven't done in a while, or I haven't filmed any. Also going to do we might go bullfrog fishing. The bullfrogs are out already, so we'll see what happens there. But we're going to do some fantasy fishing stuff, because I totally kind of bombed the classic fantasy fishing. This is the thing, I just threw teams together, and I shouldn't have. I should have realized that Gussie, having won that event prior, doing the same damn thing he was doing in the classic, should have been a top pick, but I didn't. Anyway, he, like I said, doing the same thing. It was almost like watching the same tournament almost. Again, I remember last time they were there, I think they highlighted like Zaldine for a while, but then he fell off. But then they went, Gussie over there, finding these isolated little boulders at like 20, 25 foot of water in Tellico, in the main channel area, and Demiki rigging the heck out of them. Anyway, seemed cool, awesome. The guy was on there. I know he gave himself a little scare on the end of the second day, but nobody took advantage of that. You'd think that somebody would, at that time with the conditions, or somebody would just get lucky, right? One of those top guys would have run into him like a John Cox, all of a sudden just run into like a 5-pounder or something, or a 5-6-pounder, or that to top off whatever a decent limit. Anyway, so we're going into fantasy fishing coming up for the Elite Series. We also got, you're able to pick a team for MLF stuff. So where am I at? So I'm doing the Bassmaster Elite at Lake Murray. Really what I've done is Group A. I've gone with Mike Likenelli. I don't know, I feel like he's just one of those guys I just feel like I needed to pick. I think he's going to do well. Group B, I picked Matt Airy. I think that when we get in this time of year right now, well, actually we got some time, it looks like, but I'm doing it anyway. So in April, I think we're going to get into that post spawn. I think Matt Airy is going to excel there. So I didn't even realize April 20th. So we still got a month almost. So maybe I'm a little ahead of myself here. Anyway, Group C is my West Coast dude. I'm going to pick him. I got to have a West Coast guy on there. It's just my nature. It goes against all logic at times, but that's what I'm going to do. West Coast guy, Brian Smith. I think I just have a good feeling about him. So in reality, in Group A, when I picked Iconelli, they got John Cox in there too. Man, that's a really tough one. I'm going to go with Ike. I'm going to go with Ike on this one, just in case you get a lot of post spawners. But I don't know. I don't know why I even said that. But we're going to go with him on that one. So we're going to go to Group D. And before I turn this on, I haven't really looked at it besides those first three groups. I haven't looked at this group yet. So once again, I'm going down this list. All of a sudden, what name pops into my head? Well, it's a Taco Ito. It's one of these Japanese guys. I'm like, well, there's a Brandon Polinick. He hasn't been really fishing that well. You got Chris Zaldane in this group. You got Cliff Pritz. You got Matt Robertson. You got Seth Fider in here. You got a lot of good. You got Rick Clun. You got Gary Klaus. You got Jason Christie, which would be a good pick. Solid pick. It looks like 23% of the people so far picked him in here. And then you go down there, Brian Lester and Brandon Pollock splitting that up. But I'm going to go with Tako Ito. I'm going with my Japanese. You know how I like throwing out a Japanese. So I'm going to have to, let's go to E. I like at least throwing a Japanese guy in there, especially as we get later in some of the more pressured months. And it just, they know what to do, man. They're ultimate finessers. There's Group E. So here's what I'm looking at here. There's a guy that I picked the last two of them, and he hasn't done well, but I know his mindset, and that's John Soko. And I think he realizes what he's done in the last couple, and I think he's going to do something. I know a lot of people in this group are picking Brian New, like overwhelmingly so far, like 67% almost, and then you go to Keith Bushy, but I'm going to go with Soko. I mean, you got to be different a little bit. Hopefully things work out and win. For, my tiebreaker, I don't know, 66.5 pounds. Who knows? I really don't know Lake Murray all that well. So I'm setting it there. Right now, if you look at my overall pick percentage in here, I'm like right down in the middle. I'm at the whatever yellow and beginning green. So I'm not like horrid, but I'm not great either. Obviously. So here we go to MLF. So this one, you got a deadline here at April 2nd. So this is Lake Murray as well. So interesting, I might end up, pending results off of this, go to change the Bassmaster, but we'll look at it. So your first deal here, your first group, you immediately see Brent Ayler. I see Brent Ayler, and I'm like, I like the West Coast, But then you got Jacob Wheeler, and he's undoubtedly just good at figuring things out. So what do? You got Beehive, we'll see. You got Brett Myers, who's from South Carolina. You got, Mark Daniels Jr. has been fishing pretty darn well at times. And right now I have to go with Brett. I think it's his time. So then I'm going to keep going up. You got to pick Wheeler. You just have to. Now, Poche, he's in Bassmaster as well. Lake Murray, Poche, with the way granted, if you throw him on your list, he's kind of an all-nothing guy, the way he's fishing, in my opinion. He's either going to find some kind of little niche with his boat and then smash him, or he's not. So, I don't know. I'm thinking Murray. I'm actually going to put Dudley on. I don't know why. And then a Thrift. So I'm going with Thrift and Dudley on that. I think I got one more on this section. So on these ones, I don't know. Like Fred Urbanus has kind of been fishing good too. So do you take a chance with him? Maybe. Boom Boom. Do you do that, or do you look over here? You got Alton Jones. Man, it's really tough. John Hunter, Bradley Roy. I'm kind of at a crossroads here. Dakota Ebear, he's been fishing really well. Let's just go out and let's do... Well, John Murray, I don't know what's going on with him. He doesn't seem to be in the makes hardly at all. But let's go with Freddie Boom Boom. Now we're going to go to Group B. I'm just going to throw Boom Boom out there. Just, if he's on him, he's on him. So in this one, you got Out Defoe, Chris Lane. These are your top guys on here. Edward Evers. It's like, this one's going to be a tough group. Roy Hawk, this is interesting because I'm going to go with the West Coast guy. I went with Brett, but there's just sometimes like Roy Hawk lights things up, and sometimes it seems like he's been kind of on the cooler side lately. But I have a feeling that Lake Murray might be his time to shine, so we're going to pick a Roy Hawk. And I almost want to say Dean Rojas as well. They're both from Lake Havasu City. They both have similar experience. They fish slightly different, but at the same time, it's like, well, if you're going to go with Boom Boom, you might go with a Rojas, because Rojas and actually Boom Boom kind of fish similar when they're both known for frogging. They're, that could be interesting. Cody Meyer, I like him as well. And then you got Josh Bertrand, which I know Josh Bertrand, I don't know about in this one. Let's leave him out of this. Then we're going to go up here, and it's hard to not pick like an Atafo, because also in the same regard, he and Poche kind of have those things where they're able to, in some of these instances where they go up into the weirdest stuff and do very well. So I'm just going to put Poche on there. And then who else do we got here? You go down to like Spencer. For some reason, I want to say Evers. I want to go with Edwin. Or Adrian Avina. Dude, this is a tough one here. Let's go with Connell. And then the tiebreaker, I don't know, we'll go with the same. Because I think there's just a little bit more. Let's go with, actually we'll go a couple pounds higher. But, so you heard my team there. It's one of those things. Hopefully I logged in, because it asking me to log in. Hopefully all those are saved. But you saw my team. Some of it makes sense, and then other parts of it kind of, I just like going with the gut feeling. And of course that's kind of fishing in a sense. Some of these guys, you're kind of betting on guys making the right decisions, guys adapting, and it's, at times that can be fairly difficult. And for some reason, I hope I didn't just lose all that. Gateway timeout. Thank you, you bugger. Let's go to my fantasy. And before I go, like, look at my fantasy fishing roster, make sure that got saved. But yeah. Anyway, so a lot of it's a crapshoot game, but at the same time, oh, here we go. Make sure you build your list, you son of a bee. You've got to be kidding me. Oh, no, it's saved. Okay. So, yeah, some of them, like, say, like a Dudley, is kind of that's crapshoot. Rojas and Rebane is kind of not. These are picks that are a little bit out of the realm. When you're picking, like, an Ayler that's fishing really well, you pick, like, or let's go with Wheeler. You pick, like, a Wheeler, that's pretty safe. A Thrift. Those guys do good out east, and they just always seem to find a Defoe, a Connell. They seem to be pretty consistent. One of those are pretty safe picks. But when you go to like the Hawk, you go to Rojas, even though I love these guys, and they're awesome fishermen. That at times they're either on a roll or not. You'd think they'd be a lot more consistent. Just coming from the West Coast and all those trials and tribulations out here. Or where I'm from anyway, builds such great anglers, and when they first come out, they really smash them, and then I don't know if they get kind of at times get kind of comfortable or whatever the case may be. But anyway, that's my list. And then, like I said, we got new cameras going on. We got we're getting the boat ready. I'm trying to actually spend a lot more time. Either I got to get new batteries, so we might go lithium. Trying to figure out what my graph system, which right now I'm probably just going to throw the Lowrance in the dash and run my live scope up front, but I'm trying to figure out how to integrate. I want the mega type imaging. I've wanted it for some time, and I just haven't put it on there. So we're going to figure something out there, but I want to make sure that we can get to the lake, operate on the lake, fish before we get into this, because you don't need all this jazz, really. I got decent sonar. I got the live scope. I'm not going to live scope plus yet. I mean, you're going to go broke trying to keep up with the Joneses on this stuff. You just got to be keen and understand. I guess more importantly, when you get into electronics, it's more important to understand the equipment that you're using at this point, because you have the same technology, or at least I do, besides the mega stuff. But I'm running 800 chirp, so I should be able to still see stuff. And I'm running live scope, so I can see stuff. I'm using tech. Maybe it's not the most advanced edge of whatever the tech is, but I have the tech, so if I understand my equipment, I'm able to pick up the little things. I train my eye to see that. I can still find the same stuff. So I'm not going to run out there and drop $5,000 on this stuff. You know what I mean? Anyway, talk to you later. Peace.